All right. Hello, everyone. It's been a while since we've had a podcast for the Department of History and Philosophy podcast channel, but we're now back. And to kick us off for this new season, if that's what we want to call it, we have Grayson Peoples, a history major here at Lander University. Hello, Grayson.
Hi. Like Dr. Rush said, I'm Grayson Peoples, and I'm a history major here at Lander, and I'm hoping to get a career in historic preservation.
Oh, excellent. Well, that kind of goes to this next question. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Like I said, I'm a junior. I'm a history major. I want to go into historic preservation, and I'm looking at different programs and things, and I'm just trying to get to the point where I can get a career, and I want to preserve our architectural history, and these old buildings, turn them from shacks and make them pretty again, while keeping their character intact. Like that's what I want to do.
Oh, excellent, excellent. So, and I think you did a great job explaining what that is, right? That
Mhm.
you're actually preserving physical remains of buildings.
Right.
And of course, that would also mean preserving the memories and the people's lives who worked there.
Exactly, yeah, because these buildings, they tell a story. The way that they were built, this the ornamentation and the style, it all tells a story. It's like those old houses that people used to buy in the 20s off of Sears catalogs. There's a lot of those, and now they go for big money today.
Oh, that's really cool. And that kind of brings us to our subject. The you talked about kind of talking about the future. This is an area that you want to work in, but in fact, you've already started working in it in a sense.
Yeah. Um, I've been doing these volunteer opportunities at Musgrove Mill State Historic Site. While there isn't that much to preserve there, I think the only remains of the house that used to be there is just some steps and rubble and things like that, because it burned down before the historic site was created. But there, it's still about preserving the battlefield and the memory of what happened there.
So, could you tell us a little bit more? What did happen there?
So at in 1780, it was during Revolutionary War, and the battles in the South, the North Carolina, South Carolina, it was really getting bitter, and there, I forgot where the troops were headed, but there was a group of patriots, colonial militia, that were moving through the area, and they happened upon this British encampment at Mr. Musgrove's grist mill, and there was a scuffle, and they kind of gathered and retreated, and then they met for battle in this open field nearby, and the Patriot forces, they used guerrilla warfare to defeat the British forces. And they were vastly outnumbered, and yet they won anyway using those tactics.
Oh, wow! So it sounds like there is a very interesting story to tell there.
Yeah. And what's interesting is that the battle happened like 3 days after the battle at Camden, which was a huge defeat. And so, even though we won that battle, um, our people had to retreat anyway, because we were overextended.
Right. Oh, excellent. So it fits really nicely into an overall story of the Revolutionary War, especially the Southern campaign.
Hmm. It
So,
really does.
so how did you come to have the opportunity to volunteer at Musgrove Mill?
Well, it's I started volunteering there in high school, and I was looking for places that I could work at that were history related, that I could put on my resume for college, and hopefully, career resumes when I look for jobs and things. And I found Musgrove Mill, and I started volunteer there to get some experience in case I ever wanted to work at a state park, and just get those history credentials that would help me in the future.
Excellent. And how did you get to become a volunteer there? Did you have to go through an interview? Did you go through training?
I just had to go through this quick interview with the ranger there, Dawn Weaver. She's a great person. She's a hoot. She's just awesome to work with, and yeah, she just sat down with me and I interviewed, and I got to volunteer there.
Oh, excellent. And what is it that you do when you volunteer?
I kind of help out with all sorts of things that are related to park operations. There's the regular run of the mill things like cleaning windows, sweeping the floor, wiping things down, things like that. But it's also other more interesting jobs like maintaining the trails and preventing rogue trails from appearing. Making sure everything's okay. Sometimes I would participate on guided hikes, with the interpreter. I would blow leaves with the leaf blower near the shelter, and I would just do all these crazy odd jobs. But I would also do like guest relations stuff too. I would answer the phone, and that was really fun. It kind of built my confidence when it came to talking to people on the phone that I don't normally talk to. Um, and I also got to talk to people. I got to tell them, briefly the history of the park. If you have any questions, please let me know. And I think the thing that people most often ask me is how to get to Horseshoe Falls. It's another trail off of, it's part of the park, but you have to go onto Highway 56 and then down this road to get to Horseshoe Falls. And I would have to give them, we have like a whole set of these paper maps that we can just give away for free, and we can tell them how to get there.
Oh, excellent. So it sounds like never a dull moment when you're working there.
No, never a dull moment.
Well, and this is one thing I think that's important with public history is that for what we would call academic historians like me, I spend a lot of time reading, writing, that kind of thing. But what you're doing there is very hands-on.
Yeah, very.
So, what would you say that you've learned from that experience? You mentioned learning confidence in terms of talking on the phone. That's, I think, a very important skill. It's not easy to do.
Oh, it's not. And what helped me was that Dawn told me when you answer the phone, you kind of start like an answering machine at first. Like I do this spiel where I go, "It's a great day in South Carolina. You've called Musgrove Mill State Historic Site. My name is Grayson. How may I help you?"
Oh, that's great.
And it was a great confidence builder, and I really gotten into a routine doing that.
Oh, excellent. And what else would you say you've learned from that experience?
I learned a good deal of people skills. Just since I'm an introvert, I'm not very talkative. I'm kind of quiet, and I think that helped me build confidence and interact with people that I've never met before. And I think I was a less shy person after my volunteering there. And I also learned different things about not just the local history in terms of Revolutionary War history, but also what times were like during the 1700s, and also ecology, like things about the wildlife and the ecosystem, and interesting things like that.
Excellent. I think that's one thing that makes historic preservation so fascinating is that there's all these different things you have to consider if you actually want to preserve history.
Right. Mm-hmm. And there's different things that can threaten what's being preserved. Like they have to kind of cut the weeds around where Mr. Musgrove's house used to be, and the house was sadly, I think, lost to arson
Oh, geez.
several years before before it was even considered to be a historic site. So that was unfortunate and too little too late. And as for the mill, it was washed away, I think, when the Innery River flooded, probably. But there's still like used wheels that would grain like the grain in the it would ground down the grain in the wheelhouse thing.
Excellent.
And it wouldn't just be like that either. It would be I think plumbing related things, because as a park ranger, Dawn had to do all these crazy different things, sometimes by herself, to keep the park running. Digging and maintenance of pipes, and there was even some electrical knowledge that I learned, because I walk in one morning and Dawn's at the desk, and she looks very disheveled and kind of tired. And I asked her what happened, and she said, "We had an open neutral, and that's basically like this electrical fault that causes all these crazy things to happen, and is even a fire threat. Like she said that the visitor center acted like it was possessed by a poltergeist,
Oh my
and the
gosh.
lights were flickering. The surge protectors melted. Thank God she unplugged the computers, just because that's a routine thing that she did. The fire alarm was going off and everything, and I kind of helped her. The whole day. I was there the whole day helping her run the visitor center after all that chaos the previous night.
Wow. So,
Mm-hmm.
what would you say that you enjoy about volunteering there?
I think it's like just anything can happen, and there's just all these different things that you have to do and learn. There's just a lot of variety in volunteering at a state historic site, and it's just very interesting. Like you said, there was never a dull moment.
Oh, excellent. So, I'm hoping that some of the people who will listen to this will be inspired and say, you know what, I want to follow a career in historical preservation, or I want to volunteer. What advice would you give them?
Just don't be afraid to put yourself out there and volunteer. Get out there, get some experience, and most importantly, have fun. I stepped in an ant pile, brushed all the ants off of me, never got bit, and you know what? Looking back, I had fun. And it's also fun if you're an introvert like me and you want to build some people skills. Greeting guests as they walk in, asking where they're from, what brings them to the Musgrove Mill site today, that kind of thing. Skills like that are very important no matter what career you're considering. Just because it's just those people skills. It's great to interact with others.
Oh, excellent. Well, I hope that will be helpful for our listeners. Thank you so much, Grayson, for taking your time to talk with me today.
You're welcome.